Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 600 and no one's waiting for it. 69. Nice. Yes. I noticed Brad just intentionally didn't partake in that, but that's okay.
I mean,
whatever.
669, that's just another person, right? On the pile?
669?
Yes, correct.
So it's like two people spooning.
Yeah.
And okay. Yeah.
Sorry, it actually took me a second to wrap my head around that one.
Spooning crispy.
Well, I mean, they could be. Maybe it's like a third, but like they don't want to get too into it. They're just like, I just want to cuddle. But they're cuddling somebody who's just like fucking ass blasting somebody else.
Jesus Christ.
That's
oh my God.
The name of the episode.
I mean, I think that is a throuple that has found a good balance. And I'm happy for them.
That is a beautiful
I always
way to
imagine
start
like
this
the
episode.
extra six is like just in the closet, like looking through the slats, like looking on.
The extra.
That's just getting creepy.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. This, like I said, episode 669. It is February 4th, 2021.
Yes.
My name is Nick Henderson. I'm joined tonight by Brad Simons.
Hey, I'm the 8 in the closet.
Oh.
Brad thinks he's an 8.
Oh my goodness. Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Davis.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show, guys. We have video games to talk about. We're going to talk about the medium tonight. We're going to talk about actually quite a bit of. Brad's been playing a bunch of shit, so we're going to talk about some of that stuff. But Nolan just started a new game, like an hour ago?
But it's the demo of the game. The game comes out in a month. I think March 4th, something like that.
I've been
so it comes out in a month. Brad and I have been playing Loop Hero demo.
Sweet. So we'll dig into that a little bit. So why don't we just let's not waste any time. Let's jump right in. I think we said we're going to start with the medium, I suppose. And
I've not been playing the medium, but I've been watching someone play the medium.
Who have you been watching play the? Oh, you've been watching.
Meta.
Have you been watching your wife play the medium? Is that what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the arrangement y'all have?
Sort of.
Brad just he's in the closet looking through the slats, watching Malia.
She doesn't know I'm watching her play the medium.
I'm laying in a recliner trying to stay awake, and she's like, "Are you awake? Are you awake over there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm awake." And then I doze off. That's
Are
pretty.
you saying you're dozing off because of how you feel about the medium, or?
Well, maybe as a viewer.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. So I'm going in. I went into the medium, obviously being. First of all, this is the next game from Bloober, which is the team that made Observer, Layers of Fear, or one of my favorite games from last year, Blair Witch. This is also a game featuring the soundtrack from Akira Yamaoka, who is famous for doing the music for Silent Hill, which is also one of my favorite franchises. So I think I had pretty high expectations for this one. Although I think Bloober as a studio has kind of made a name for themselves by being this kind of like...
Speaking of a name, when are they going to change that?
I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird name. But they've kind of made a name for themselves being, and I hate to use the word like B-tier horror developer. It's not really. It's just they're smaller, but they make horror games on smaller budgets.
Yeah,
and churn them out pretty quickly.
Their turnaround time has been pretty quick. This has been maybe their most high-profile one in that like it's been advertised pretty heavily as like an Xbox Series X exclusive, even though I'm playing it on PC, obviously, as one does. But like it's been kind of built up as like this powerhouse or this demonstration of like what that console is capable of doing graphically and whatnot. But I've been playing it this week, and I've got about like six or 7 hours into it. I haven't finished it. I was hoping to finish it last night, but I got really tired. But I don't know. I went into this game with pretty high expectations because I loved Blair Witch. And this game has this really interesting, like, concept that I wasn't really sure how it was going to play out. Obviously, so first of all, if you're watching the footage, I think this footage is actually going to do a pretty good job of demonstrating the issues I'm having with this game. Because conceptually speaking, like, the hook of the game is that you play a character who is a medium, right? So she can see through into different planes of existence and, like, speak to ghosts and help them pass on to the afterlife, right? Ghosts who have been lingering, who have unfinished business, quote unquote. She can, like, see and interact with them. So mechanically speaking, that's translated into the screen literally splits in two, and you're controlling her in the real world and simultaneously in this, like, distorted, ghostly world. Kind of like something you would see in Silent Hill when it goes all fucking weird.
It's a cool idea. Even it evokes, like, the PS2 era for me, but in a good way.
Like split screen kind of.
Yeah. Like games these days are too, serious and prestige-y to do something as silly as a simultaneous split screen.
The weird thing is, and I think it's a cool idea too, and the problem I keep running into, and you'll kind of see me bumping into walls and shit in this, is my brain or my eyes just aren't trained anymore for, like, I haven't played a split screen game in forever. First of all, usually when I was playing split screen, obviously I was playing, like, something that's deathmatch, so obviously I'm trying to focus on one side of the screen. But this game specifically is asking you to, like, pay attention to what's happening on both sides of that split, because you're moving them in tandem, but in the real world, she may be able to walk through a door that's blocked in the other world. So you have to kind of be aware of your surroundings on both sides. So I'm frequently, like, bumping into walls and stuff, and because my brain just starts to naturally tell my eyes to, like, focus on one side instead of both of them at once. And that becomes a little bit of an issue.
Why didn't they go with the vertical split screen?
Right?
I mean, the thing is,
I think that happens.
I think they play with the split, so sometimes, depending on where you are in the environment and what they want to show off, because it does use fixed camera angles, it is very, like, cinematic. It actually harkens back to, like, Silent Hill, maybe like Silent Hill 2, with the way it handles its camera, and, like, classic Resident Evil, where they have fixed cameras that slowly start to pan as you move through them and stuff. So, like, everything's fixed. So, like, depending on the environment they want to show, they may do a horizontal split, they may do a vertical split. Sometimes you can hold a button to, like, focus more on one side. That'll make the one side bigger, which can be helpful. But you can only do it in, like, certain places, which I thought was kind of strange. But actually, Carpe D in chat mentions Fatal Frame. That's probably a better reference for the way the cameras work, because the cameras were, if I remember correctly, in Fatal Frame were a lot more active in how they would move kind of with you as you progress through the environment. It's a cool concept, and in theory, I like it the way it works in this game. The bigger problem I think I'm running into is that, like, I think a lot of there's, like, a handful of different, like, kinds of puzzles that you do, and they just kind of seem to repeat over and over again. So it's getting, mechanically speaking, I think it's getting old kind of fast. Maybe that's not fair, because I may already be, like, almost done with it. It's like an 8 to 9 hour game, and I'm like 6 hours in, so maybe it's starting to get old, but I'm approaching the end. I don't really know.
Can I ask a semi-serious question?
Sure.
Do you find the game soul-crushingly boring, or no? Question mark.
No.
Okay.
So here's the thing. What it's lacking, mechanically speaking, I think it's more than making up for with, like, an interesting premise and, like, I like the character. I like the kind of the setup. And the setup is literally her. She's a medium, and she receives this mysterious phone call, which leads her to this abandoned, like, resort in Poland that has been abandoned for, like, 50 years or something like that. And when she gets there, she meets the ghost of this, like, young girl, and she's trying to find the guy that called her on the phone, who she thinks he might be a medium as well, but she's trying to figure out kind of how she relates to this place and what happened at this place, because apparently everybody died. There was this huge massacre, and she's trying. I mean, it's creepy stuff. It goes into like Silent Hill-esque territory pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're familiar with that, like, it deals with some dark stuff, thematically speaking.
Is this like in the future?
I would say modern day, I guess.
Oh, I wasn't sure if it was like post Cyberpunk 2077.
Definitely not. Definitely
I just didn't
not.
know. No, I meant like Poland took it pretty hard because
That's
it's
true.
a bad game, and they're Polish. It was a joke.
But didn't
Nick.
you?
Was
didn't
it
you-
Nolan? Was it?
No, it wasn't Crispy.
Yeah, let's roll
You
back
tried,
the tape
you tried.
there.
You try. Yeah, I'm not entirely. We're gonna keep the receipts on that one.
It seems like chat got it, so y'all just aren't
Oh my
cool.
Yeah.
You can't just Venmo Sonji $20 to laugh at your joke, Nick or Nolan.
Brad, you're over there saying, "Oh my God," like kind of under your breath, and I'm assuming.
No,
you're
no,
watching this
no. It's not the. I'm thinking of CD Projekt Red and how overnight, all of a sudden, they became a developer that no one cared about anymore.
That's what I'm saying happened, and then this
Easy
game
come,
happened.
easy go.
Well, I don't think this game is going to be filling the void left by CD Projekt Red.
That's not the joke.
I don't understand. Someone explain the joke then.
CD Projekt Red was the heart of Poland. They put out a bad game. Society collapses in Poland. This game happens.
I think Poland sued them.
I guess.
That's the joke.
Sorry.
Anyway.
I'm a little slow in the uptake tonight, Nolan. I actually
It's
warned you
all
about
good,
this
bud.
before the recording.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm not mad. It's all good. So keep talking. Keep talking.
I
So
don't know.
resort, you find a girl. It's crazy.
She's missing an arm.
And her
Really?
name is Sadness, and she can't remember her real name. So I don't know. It's weird, and it goes into some really weird, fucked up, dark places, which I like. But mechanically speaking, it is kind of asking you to do the same thing, and it has that thing I know Brad's gonna hate, which is a lot of finding notes, and things like that. So
Oh
it
God,
definitely
there's
does not-
reading.
and I was like trying to record footage, and I kept finding note after note after note, and I was like, no, Brad is gonna like watch this footage and be like, I'm never playing this game ever, which
Not
might
the
already be the
words.
case. I don't know.
I'm watching you do this puzzle.
Yeah, this doesn't seem hard,
Yeah.
Nick.
It doesn't seem like a hard puzzle. Do you know what a human face looks like?
Bitch, it's not what you. Y'all are killing me.
It,
I know.
It looks like you're supposed to put eyes on top of nose on top of mouth,
Yes,
like a face.
Exactly. But when you move one, it moves the other, and you have to kind of learn the pattern.
Oh,
Right?
Gotcha.
So
Okay,
it's not,
gotcha.
Yeah, it's not just like move it until
I
it
thought you
lines
were
up with
just
the face.
dumb.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not.
I did too.
That was the default assumption. Well, obviously, Nick's an idiot.
God damn it.
Hey, you solved it though. You got it, bud.
The funny thing is, when I was doing this puzzle while recording this footage, I was thinking like I probably look real dumb doing that.
Yeah.
doing that.
You were right.
Well, guess what?
So I have a couple questions real quick, especially
Okay.
if I keep watching my wife play this. Is there like action or combat or?
So there are action sequences in that, and most of the action sequences are like, actually, I'm gonna. This might be a good thing or a bad thing to some people. It's very reminiscent of Silent Hill Shattered Memories, where there's
You're
this
running.
one demon that's kind of periodically showing up and chasing you through environments, and you kind of have to avoid him and
Is it
navigate.
easy?
Yeah, it's pretty
she's
easy.
gonna make me play this shit. If
It's easy. It's easy in that like I've only fucked up like twice.
is it very like clear cut when you get to one of those sequences and when one of those sequences is over?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And here's another thing I'll say, and because this is very much, and I saw a lot of articles written about this game, reviews and whatnot, that talk about this game being like harkening back to like classic survival horror, or being like a true like a horrifying experience kind of thing. This game is not scary. I'm not saying that's not. I'm not trying to say this game is bad because
Is
it doesn't
it
achieve.
spooky?
I mean, here's the thing. I can sit alone in this room at night with all the lights out and play this and have absolutely no problem. I'm not like that. If there's a game that genuinely like, I can't sit down and play Resident Evil 7 or something, or Alien Isolation even. Just a few things that like when I played Blair Witch last year, I had a hard time just turning out all the lights and playing it for a long period of time because I get freaked out, I get like anxiety, and I would have to like walk away from it for a while. This game is a very smooth kind of, you're just like, once you're on it, you just kind of go along for the ride. It has nice atmosphere and really good music, and the story is so far is pretty interesting. But the story is pulling me through, and there is nothing overtly creepy or scary about it that's making me feel like I'm spooked. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, or if they were even going for like super scary or something, but maybe it's just not that kind of game. I mean, like I played Amnesia Rebirth last year. I think that's a great game, but I didn't find that particularly scary either, especially coming off of like the Dark Descent, which I think is terrifying. So maybe they were just going for something a little different, and for that, if that's the case, then they succeeded.
Amnesia didn't make your top 10, did it?
I'm gonna be honest, Brad. I'm still flip-flopping on my number 10.
What? You
Still,
need to record that shit.
I know. I've recorded like 3, but like my number 10, I'm still like, I don't know.
If you
I
put
don't know.
Amnesia on there and not Final Fantasy.
Well, here's the thing. I have a question. I know this is totally off topic, but we did our number 11 award, right?
No. Yeah, that's not.
I can't.
shit.
Now that I've done it, I
set in
can't put that in
stone.
my number 10.
No, you can. It doesn't fucking matter. Jesus.
Will you put a gun to my head if
No.
if I do that? Okay. Cool. Now that I've been secretly wanting to ask you guys that question for a long time. Thank you for giving me the answer.
Now, is this?
You
Do you think Amnesia is going to be better than A Machine for Pigs?
I actually am a big fan of A Machine for Pigs. Just so you know.
As is Carlos.
See, Carlos has good taste sometimes. I don't know. Sorry, but the other answer to your question about combat and stuff is you can use her medium powers to create like an energy shield or an energy blast that is usually used to like bombard things in the environment to like melt them away so you can progress. But like sometimes there's these like tentacles that come out of the ground that'll like swat at you, or these bugs that like swarm, and you can like create an energy shield around you if you have enough energy and like walk through them. That's about as action packed as it gets outside of being chased by the big creepy demon that wants to wear your skin. But yeah, so I mean it's mostly, you know, kind of semi-linear, or it's linear. I mean, it's not a lot of branching paths, so it's a pretty linear experience, mostly focused on storytelling,
So
with some interesting story idea or mechanical ideas that I don't necessarily think are gonna be as memorable as they hoped.
this is like the first game for the Xbox, new Xbox, right?
I guess, but it's on PC too, so
Yeah. I feel like Microsoft, man, they're really struggling.
I mean, but here's
Because
the thing.
they're buying all these studios and they're making all these deals, and like, what do
it's a
they have
fine
to
game.
show for it?
It's a fine game, and I think Bloober is actually a talented studio. Like, I really like that Bloober makes these smaller horror experiences that are all white, like very different. Like this team made Observer, which is really inspired and really cool, and Layers of Fear was really unique in its own way, and Blair Witch, I loved that game, and like the fact that this is totally different than all of those games. Like even if I don't love every one of their games, I'm always interested and excited to see what they're gonna do next, because they make a lot of varied experiences, which is cool. I think this is maybe a strange game for Microsoft to like lean on as like, this is our big exclusive. I think
Well,
Hellblade is.
I don't even think that's what they're trying to do.
Their MO is to find the best looking indie games they can find and then act like they're.
I mean, it's weird. It's weird that like it almost seems like, okay, Halo fell through, so what do we have right behind Halo? Let's push the medium, which is just kind of a strange. It is definitely not on that tier of like, and it's definitely not gonna find that same audience or same size audience. So I don't know. It's just, it feels a little strange, but still, I think if you're a fan of Silent Hill, if you're a fan of Akira Yamaoka music, and you just like a horror game, a nice horror game, I think this is definitely worth playing.
This is also a digital only release. There's no physical copy available. That's kind of weird.
I mean, but that's pretty. I mean, to be honest, most of Bloober's games have been that way. They released a Blair Witch physical copy, but it was like 6 months after or something after it released. Like, and that was like limited release. It wasn't like they didn't like. You're not going to walk into a Best Buy and find that or something. You know what I mean? So I mean that's what I'm saying. They do these like smaller projects that are usually digital only, but hey, they're all unique.
Good.
They have a dumb name, but they make good games.
Good Game Pass.
They should. Yeah. Somebody should give them the Stranger Things license and let them do something with that. Especially with this presentation, I think they could make something pretty cool.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is, I think they're very kind of focused on like horror as their, even when they start to branch out and do something like, Observer, which is like science fiction-y, like it's still more horror than science fiction.
What the hell do you think Stranger Things?
Have you seen it?
Chris Davis, were you just referring to this plane versus the Upside Down?
I mean, basically, yes, but like you could. The way that fiction works is that you can cross over. So
you're right. Sorry, you said Stranger Things, and my brain went to Life is Strange, and I was like, that's a weird thing to say.
It's funny you bring that up because I have been saying that Bloober Team is like the Don't Nod of horror. They're just consistently put out games in the low 70s, but you can't be mad about that.
Hey, no one says low 70s has to be necessarily a bad thing. Again,
that's what I just said.
I know, but like I think a lot of people will hear me talking about this and think I'm being overly negative or might say this is not worth my money or whatever, but like I say this a lot, guys, but like fuck, Blair Witch last year is a 70. Straight up, it's a 70. But it was also one of my favorite games I played last year, and that was a good year last year.
Yeah. Hey,
a lot of really cool stuff about that game.
I'm with you.
You know what Bloober is really good at, and between Blair Witch and this has made me realize they make really, really good looking forests. There's a lot of sequences where you're walking around in the woods outside of the resort center here, and like their forests look really, really good.
And vegetation too.
Have you ever seen one in real life? Forests just look good.
I mean, but it's easy to make like a forest environment that just looks like a fucking video game. They make like photorealistic forests where you can't really see like there's walls around you, right? Like they're funneling you to a path, but like it doesn't feel like you're in a room being funneled because everything feels random, like an action. It's hard to explain, but they're very good at it.
I get it.
That's why you got all disoriented in Blair Witch, which was really good, by the way, if I didn't already say that. Anyways, that's the medium. Dave the Zombie says he doesn't understand all the comparisons to Silent Hill. I think that's a strange comment because not only does it sound like Silent Hill because it has Akira Yamaoka music all over it and it sounds incredibly Silent Hill, but like the themes of the story feel like something Silent or Konami or Team Silent would have absolutely done in their game. Like it's literally about exploring these like dank urban environments that turn into like.
Did you kill your wife?
I don't know. I mean, but it's definitely dealing with some pretty dark, fucked up shit that would be right at home in Silent Hill for sure.
Okay, cool.
Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about Nolan. You want to? Oh, damn it! Well, y'all have both been playing Loop Hero, right?
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Correct.
Loop Hero.
The demo for Loop Hero as a part of Steam's like their demo festival. They did one of these last year, a demo festival where hundreds of upcoming indie games put out demos for a limited time. I mean, that you say, is there a lot of good stuff? It's like 500 demos. You just have to. I mean, like no one can curate.
You just have to let someone play them until someone tells you, "Here, play this."
Yeah,
which is exactly what I did. And Brad messaged me and said, "Hey, Nolan, play this," and I was like, "You got it, Chief."
I tried this one because this is the only indie. I mean, this game recently had like a little PR push because I think it's published by Devolver.
It is Devolver, yes.
And that was the only reason I heard of it. But I mean, that's sort of the problem with Steam is there's all these amazing games, but if someone isn't out there pushing it, you're never going to hear about them. But I did hear about this one, so I tried it, and I got Nolan to try because I thought he might like it, and it's pretty cool.
What is this?
Yeah, so it's Loop Hero. As you can see, you are going around a loop, and it is a roguelite game in which you go around this loop over and over. You can see on the top left, there are two bars that are slowly filling, one quickly filling and one slowly filling. The top one is the day-night cycle. I say day-night, there's day cycle. Whenever a new day starts, certain things happen. You regain some health, some monsters spawn, whatever. And whenever the bottom one fills, like the boss appears, and you can fight the boss. At any point in time, though, you can retreat and run away if you want. That allows you to retain, a bunch of the stuff that you've accrued along your run, because this is it's a run-based game, roguelite.
Are those cards you're collecting? Like,
they're cards, yeah.
So yes, it is. This is also a deck builder. So you start with a set of cards. Some basic ones: a meadow, some rocks, mountain, some different kind of. I don't want to say enemy types. They're more so enemy spawners, I guess. So like a grove or like a graveyard or something. And so I like to. One of the best ways I can describe it is if y'all remember a game I really liked a few years ago called the Guild of Dungeoneering, where the whole concept is you could just go around the circle and do nothing. But if you do that, you're not going to fight enemies, which drop loot, which give you more resources. So the whole point is you want to make it harder for yourself, because when you do, you get more out of it, and then you can take that out of this loop back to your like campground, where when you're not in this loop, that's where you're at, to build up new things. So your campground starts out very basic. There's like nothing there. You start building stuff like kitchens and blacksmith shops and stuff like that to get yourself more items, more cards to bring into the fight. To
sort of the perma part of the roguelike.
Correct. Exactly.
Gotcha.
So as you can see, it's also, I don't want to say tower defense, but kind of. There's a whole, I don't want to say meta, but you can place any of these cards wherever, but depending on where you place them and how they work with other cards, that will change things. Like one of the ones that I was talking about with Brad right before we started recording was the Blood Grove or something like that. What was
Blood Grove.
Some Blood Grove, and if you place that near a grove, any enemy, when you're fighting them in that area, the blood groves, it's like tangles. It's like weeds that tangle up, and they will latch onto enemies. And when an enemy health gets low enough, they just get lost into the grove and die. And so it's beneficial. So it's like, let me think about, I can set up the grove wherever I want. I probably want to put it somewhere where I know I can put a blood grove to touch as many tiles as I can to affect as many enemies as I can. So it's kind of about stuff like that. It's about learning where to place what to help yourself, like in the long run. Every tile you place on your path, whenever you pass that, you get resources. So you'll get wood or rocks or stuff like stone or whatever to help build up your base back at home. So it's kind of all about trying to figure out things. And one of the things Brad and I were talking about before, there's a lot of this that is unknown, and the game kind of does that on purpose. You'll see me placing some stuff kind of off of the loop, off to the side, some like mountains and rocks and meadows. And it seems like when you place them in certain orientations and formats, configurations, things change. So like some mountains and rocks near each other can become like a giant mountain. And that gives you, I think, some resources, but it also starts spawning new enemy types. As you can see here, this is the first time I've interacted with a vampire, and so there's this kind of little conversation we have. The first time you interact with like a harpy, there's a very interesting conversation, stuff like that.
Well, like the writing is surprisingly. I mean, I was not expecting to potentially be intrigued by the story. I was pretty much only expecting to be hooked on, addicted to the loop, if you will. But I kind of want the way the story develops is actually kind of interesting, at least.
Yeah, and so there's a whole like meta kind of behind the rogue-like element of it. Like he's like, oh, I've been here before, but things look different. I'm kind of confused. Why are things changing? And when you go back to your base or whatever, it's like, oh, I've kind of forgotten what I thought I knew. It's there's something obviously going on that I'm sure we'll maybe find out when you play the game more. But yeah, there's an interesting story somewhere in this game. The other thing is you'll see that basically any time I go into combat, for the most part, I unlock new cards and new weapons and armor and like pieces. And those things are like, you just go through them like nothing. If you equip something and you find something else, and this is kind of one of the downsides, and this is something Brad and I were talking about. Like there's a bunch of different traits. You know, you have your basic damage, you have defense, you have evasion, you have countering. Vampirism was one Brad and I were talking about, and that's exactly what it sounds like. Whenever you hit an enemy, you get X percentage of the damage back as health. And there was a time where it's like, oh man, I had like maybe 20% vampirism, but I wasn't doing a whole lot of damage, and so I had a new weapon that would increase my damage a lot, but then I lose that vampirism. I'm like, well, this sucks, whatever. So you equip it. If you ever equip a new piece of equipment, your old one it's gone. It lost to the ether. But then like the next match, I got like 2 things that upped my vampirism. I'm like, damn it, if I wouldn't have done that, I could have now stacked these to get even high. And so it's one of those things where I never really know. And sometimes even when I get a new piece of equipment, I won't necessarily equip it right away, because I'm like, let me see what I get next to see how those things play off of each other.
It's so strange because you do keep an inventory of stuff. Why couldn't you just swap them out? But
so you can carry multiple pieces of equipment, but once you actually swap something out, it's gone. The old one's gone.
Yeah, if you're watching the footage, you'll see there's a couple of sections on the right. You can break it down into 3 sections. The top one is everything you currently have equipped. The middle one is like your inventory, and the bottom one is all your stats. So how all of those equipments add up that you have on currently. And so anytime you equip something, whatever was there previously is now gone. And then if you were to let your inventory fill up, it just gets rid of the thing the lowest in the stack. It just trashes that. And for the most part, you'll notice on the very, very top right, you can see, I forget what it's called. It's like the level or whatever. The farther you go, the longer you're there, the more enemies you fight, you start getting better equipment. It's for the most part, it's pretty safe to assume the next time you fight an enemy, you are probably going to get a better piece of equipment. Not 100% of the time, but I would say like at least 70, 80%. There's a constant progression. You'll see that every piece of equipment has like a level on it. And, the first ones that get are 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. You start randomly every once in a while, you'll get maybe one that's a little bit higher. I'm sure there's some random number generator in there that will give you equipment that you probably shouldn't be getting for a few more levels, but they'll throw you one early, which might help out. But once again, like any roguelite, especially of the newer generations, it's a lot of random number generator stuff.
Yeah, your opinion on like something about the loop that I'm struggling with is some of these cards, they seem like they just spawn bad things, right? Which you need to fight bad things to get stronger, right? Like a vampire house, right? But like when I'm building my deck, how about I just take out the vampire house and all of a sudden I don't have to deal with vampires anymore?
You can. So the thing is, you can go in with anywhere from 7 to 12 cards, and once again, I don't necessarily know the meta yet. Maybe the reason is, and once again, I haven't learned it. Maybe vampires are more likely to drop a certain type of item or a certain type of resource.
Okay,
and it's one of those things where if maybe.
But then you get things that like lighthouses or the campfires or something that.
Lanterns, the red lanterns,
the lanterns that make it so the tiles are in that are not as like they spawn less enemies. So you're placing things because you want enemies to spawn, but then you're also placing things to make it so they don't spawn. And I'm like, what is?
I think that, Brad, is it limits the number that can potentially spawn. So maybe it's so there's not like 5 vampires on one. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe it's just to prevent it from any given battle from having too many people. And once again, I don't know the exact details, but I think I've definitely been in a battle that I want to say 4, maybe 5 enemies. And I think the lanterns can lower that number so that at any given point in time, probably later in the loop, not like immediately, but once you've done your like 5th or 6th circle, so because you'll start placing a lot of tiles, and there will be times where you are like every other turn you are fighting like at least 3-4 enemies. I think the whole point of the lantern is just preventing you from having too many battles that are like a shit ton of enemies in a row.
Same thing. That's with my assumption. Oblivions, right? Are they just cards to kind of keep things from getting out of control? Maybe
that's my assumption. Yeah, Oblivion is a card where if you place it on a tile, it will either delete the building that is there or delete every enemy that is in that tile. And I used that earlier, Brad, and that's kind of what we were talking about when I was playing before the show. Was I was kind of approaching a big group of enemies that I was like, I do not have enough health to take these guys on. I see a single enemy that's like 2 tiles later. I can take him. Let me delete these guys fight that next guy just to get a little more loot before I'm gonna like retreat or leave my run. That was kind of my logic, and because the thing is, you'll notice that you can see it on the loop. There is a bonfire tile. That is kind of where the loop starts and ends. Once you hit that, first off, you gain some health back. But secondly, when you hit it, you can choose to kind of like leave your run without losing anything. You just essentially, hey, I'm not going to progress any farther. I'm not going to get better loot. I'm just going to leave and take what I have. Because if you leave at any other point in time, you will lose a bunch of the loot. I don't know what the percentage is. It's like 30% of the loot you've gained, you lose it all.
Does that track like the actual loop? Does that ever change?
Yes. Yeah. So once again, being roguelite, every time you enter this, the loop is a different shape.
Okay, gotcha.
So once again, and
but
it's
always a physical loop. Like
correct.
It's always okay.
Yes, but that once again, like I said, that changes how you decide to put what tiles where. Because depending on how the loop is physically shaped, like I said, think of like a tower defense game, where if you put some turret in this position, it's going to have the most effect on each enemy in that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you'll notice there are certain times where, and I don't know if it's in this footage or if I played it at one point, but there's literally a loop so that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles, I guess is technically the max that could affect any one thing. I put a grove on one of those, and I put a blood grove right in the middle. So literally there are 7 tiles where any enemy who spawns on one of those, as soon as they hit 15% health, they immediately die. And so it's kind of all about being super as like efficient as you can to try and make sure you give yourself the edge. It's one of those things where you are playing the player and the dungeon master. So you are always kind of out to set yourself up for success.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
I mean, yeah, set yourself up for success by impeding your own, by putting more obstacles in your way so you can get stronger faster.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. If like, if in WoW, if you're just in the first area fighting boars, yeah, you're gonna have an easy time, but you're not gonna get a whole lot of experience or good like drops out of it. You kind of have to give yourself a challenge to get yourself better stuff.
Yeah,
I like that concept.
The only thing I'd say is that we haven't mentioned is the visual style is very like late 80s, early 90s PC RPG. Like, I could see the look of this game really turning people off. But it's growing on me.
I was actually just going to point out, like the gameplay, everything you just said, I feel like applies very heavily to like just the general gameplay. But when the characters are talking to each other, I love the character art.
It's good. It's good art.
Kind of in the same way, like I really enjoyed watching the character art pop up in Hades, where like all the characters look really cool. I mean, I'm assuming this is not voice acted. This is just kind of reading the text. Yeah. So, I mean, you're losing out on that aspect, but like if the dialogue's sharply written, the characters look really cool. I mean, that presentation is enough to, I feel like, would be enough to elevate an experience like this. It looks neat. And this is coming out next month. In March?
March 4th, I believe, is the official release date. But yeah, I would say it's one of those things where, yes, I agree. Brad, messaged me in Discord and he was like, check out Loop Hero. And I Googled it and I was like, and I was like, don't fucking judge a book by its cover. So I watched a video real quick. And then, as soon as I saw there was a free demo, I was like, what is the harm in downloading a free demo of a game? Downloaded it, and within like 20 minutes, I was like, I'm digging this. It's definitely addictive. It's one of those things where as soon as the loop kind of gets you and you're like, oh, okay, I get it now, and like, oh, I'm unlocking some stuff, cool, okay, and then you get back to your base and you're like, oh, I just need 2 more stone and 1 more food pouch, and then I can unlock this thing that will get me this new it's like, okay, well, let me do one more run. It's one of those things where I could see it easily being kind of addictive, and also on the side of kind of pushing yourself. Like, do I do one more loop or do I stop and retreat now? Like, if I do one more loop, I could get absolutely fucked and like lose like a lot. Or do I kind of back out now, go back to, upgrade my stuff and then continue on? But once again, as soon as you start again, you start from 0. So you're fighting slimes and you're getting like shitty loot and whatever. So it takes a while to kind of get yourself back up to where you were when you left.
You know what this seems like? This totally seems like a board game, like a cool like board game that probably exists or would exist, something we'd rent out at PAX and have a good time with, be like, wow, this is good.
I miss PAX.
Yeah.
I miss
Man,
friends
sorry.
and people in person.
Well, yeah, of course, but like it's funny. I haven't missed PAX in a while because there was a point where I was like, I think I need to take a few years off from going to PAX just so I can kind of, get a breather and get to a point where it doesn't feel like just the thing I do again.
Mm-hmm.
I officially miss PAX.
Yep.
God. Anyways, so this is part of so just I'm curious now because I want to go see what else is. This is all on Steam.
Yeah.
Like all these demos are on Steam.
It's the Play What's Next Steam Game Festival, or
Gotcha.
Steam Game Festival. I guess that's what they call them now. But
Yes, Steam
it's a
Game
lot-
Festival.
Lots of demos.
I like demos. I'm gonna poke around with that later after the show and see what else I can find in there. Maybe we'll talk about more demos on a future show. Let's switch gears though, real quick, Brad. Before we talk about Monster Hunter, Crispy, have you been playing anything that we didn't know about?
Tell Crispy.
That I didn't know about.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing Monster Hunter
Yeah,
lately.
Fuck you, Nick.
So like yeah. Every couple months, me and my online friends have this moment where like we've played Call of Duty and we've played Overwatch and like we've lost and we've been like, these games are fucking horrible and I hate everybody and I hate myself. Like those games just make us hate each other. And we've been like, we can't keep doing this. We got to find a new game. So like we were sitting around going like, okay, well, let's play this. And then I'm like, dude, what? Like, no, let's just play Monster Hunter. So then like 4 of us started playing Monster Hunter, and it's been great. It's been wonderful. Like, it's been so good to not be in a fucking shooting game with other people.
So you've been playing heavy bowgun.
I haven't actually.
I
can't wrap
you are
my
talking
head
about
around.
World, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Monster Hunter World. I did play a bit more of the Rise demo, but yeah, I've been playing World with my friends.
Rise demo.
Huh?
I'm over 20 hours on the Rise demo.
Oh, I don't have nearly that much time
Lord.
in it, but
So it sounds like you found a way to reset that demo, so you can.
Yeah, you just delete.
I didn't know. Brad, did you know that there are like mounts in Iceborne?
Yeah. Well, dude, I played hundreds of
I didn't
hours
know
of Iceborne.
I didn't know that. I felt it made it feel a little less special. I was like, oh,
Well, you can't
ninjable.
you can't steer them. They just auto follow whatever you're tracked to.
Oh yeah.
So you can't just drift with them like you can with elements. But
Right.
well, so what weapon have you been rolling with?
I've still been doing a lot of greatsword. I just started learning dual swords though, which is a lot of fun. And what was the other one? Fucking Charge Blade.
Yeah, I've been fucking.
I've done a bunch of Charge Blade, but I've like started like really trying to do more of it.
It seems like
Isn't
it has
Charge-
so much potential.
Isn't Charge Blades the one I decided to try in the Rise demo? And
Yeah.
y'all were like,
It's-
that's the most complicated one in the
It's
game?
the most complicated weapon in the game, and at least as far as world is concerned, it has the potential to be like the most broken OP weapon in the game.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's fucking wild, and it makes no
We're gonna-
sense. And I
We're
love
going to
it.
do that again, right? When Rise comes out, we're going to do another 4... That was fun. That was the most fun I've had, with Monster Hunter.
I think you're the
while,
weak
so.
link in that chain.
I-
Nick. You tell us. Are
yeah.
we gonna do it again?
Yes.
So I heard just today that the director of Monster Hunter came out and said, "Look, I'm officially saying I'm taking it back. Sword and shield is not the weapon I recommend to beginners anymore. It's officially the longsword."
Dude, the longsword's really cool.
Something to that effect. Because
Yeah.
the sword and shield is actually a relatively complex weapon to make effective. But
There's a lot going on with sword and shield that you wouldn't expect, and longsword is super dope, simple, and everything you do looks fucking cool as shit. Like, it's so good. But yeah, that's and I don't think I told you guys this, but I started playing Hollow Knight again.
Oh,
Like I started from the beginning and just like started over.
You were finished it the first time, or is this like your
I
second go
didn't.
round?
I got really far and I didn't finish it, and then I was like,
That's what happened
I
to
don't
me.
want to. Yeah, I was like, I don't want to like pick it up where I was, so I just started over. I'm right now. I'm I think I just got to like the Mantis Village, so I'm not very far.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a game that like I don't know, like one of my friends was talking about how much they loved Super Metroid. And I was like, did you guys ever play Hollow Knight? And then like 4 of them started playing it and like just made this, like they just went fucking nuts. Like they got so much farther than I did, and we're like making a huge competition out of it and everything. But
so then you had 2 groups of friends making you feel bad that you never finished.
yeah, so like everyone was playing Hollow Knight, and I was just like, okay, fine. Like so I started playing it again, and it is a delightful game.
Hell yes. I'm so guys, I keep forgetting Silk Song is like probably coming out this year, right?
Yeah.
Gotta get ready.
Hopefully.
Dropped. They
Wait, what?
I feel like Silk Song will totally be a shadow dropped game.
Like it'll just be out.
They haven't.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And just like
that they can get away with that, and it'll be
for sure. Speaking of classic Metroidvania style games, we're gonna record our revival club soon for Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but I've made some solid ass progress in that game past couple nights. I'm not obviously gonna go into detail on it tonight.
Although it was funny, you went into Discord and you're like, guys, how do I beat Richter? He's kicking my ass. You don't beat Richter. What are you doing?
Well, I don't understand. I still don't understand what that comment means.
Richter Belmont is a good guy. The whole trick of Symphony of the Night, the whole twist, famously
is that fight
is explore the castle enough and you'll find out there's something going on, and you don't actually need to kill Richter. Once you figure that out and find another approach to that fight, then you will unlock the second half of the game.
Okay, cool. So I need to figure that out.
You can totally kill him in the game. Right? Like, yeah,
he's tough.
Yeah, and then it's just like, yeah, game over. You did it. Go home.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do some research because I definitely don't want that to be the end of the game for me. So I'll figure that out. Anyways, also, Crispy mentioned Monster Hunter. Brad, you've been playing Monster Hunter Stories.
Beautiful transition.
Yeah, that was great.
Everyone's hyped for Rise, and while Crispy went back to World, I've been feeling that Monster Hunter hype with another game, Monster Hunter Story.
What the fuck is that?
Tell me more, Brad.
Stories. So yeah, I am incredibly excited about Monster Hunter Rise, of course.
Oh, is this like a Pokemon game?
This is the Monster Hunter RPG that came out I don't know, like 5 years ago or whatever for the 3DS, and I never picked it up for that, but there is a mobile port that's I heard is surprisingly good, so I'm playing that because the DS version is actually still pretty expensive. So I was like, I'll get this mobile port, which I hear is really good. So I always have it in my pocket. And it is surprisingly good. So I wanted to play this for a few reasons. One, obviously, I'm really hyped about Monster Hunter. 2, I can learn about some monsters and stuff that weren't necessarily in World, in Iceborne. Because beyond World and Iceborne, I've dabbled in Monster Hunter games, but I never actually like played hundreds of hours or whatever. So there's still a lot of monsters and stuff that I'm not actually familiar with. So it would be cool to go into Rise and like, when I see a monster I recognize it, I'm like, oh, fucking awesome, right? Maybe even know a little bit about it. So I wanted to play that. And the other thing is Monster Hunter Stories, the follow-up to this game, is totally coming to the Switch this year, and that looks really good. So I was like, well, this is I feel like the perfect game to play right now. So I'm playing Monster Hunter Stories, and it's a little Monster Hunter RPG that's kind of like Pokemon, kind of like Monster Rancher. You're exploring. Structurally, it feels very similar to Monster Hunter, where you have like this little village hub and you're doing side quests and you're doing main quest missions and you're going out into the world and there's just monsters. Did you jump ahead, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. There is you're exploring like big maps and you see monsters and you could totally ride your monsters too. And
cool.
your bird wyverns, if you will. I think this is.
You can ride the monsters that you capture.
Well, I don't know if you can ride all of them. This is the one I got from the story, but I know I've definitely seen the ability to ride other monsters or whatnot. They made amiibos for this game too, and 3 different amiibos with the characters riding on different monsters and whatnot. And then you get into fights, and the battles are, I guess I say Monster Rancher because the battles are more like Monster Rancher-esque, where it's sort of like a weapon triangle. It's almost like you're playing rock, paper, scissors, but you're joining in fighting with your own monster, which they call monsties. And this
wow.
I'm not cool with that.
Like,
this is a game for babies, Brad?
Yeah, Brad, on a scale from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon to Spyro, how much of a baby game is this?
Well, so one of the look.
Brad is baby.
The combat is not like super complex.
Man, shifted gears so fast on that one.
Like this is still like a really polished, like bright, colorful Monster Hunter game. And one of the other reasons I was like, I can like totally vibe with this is because it totally has all like the sounds, like the sound effects of like a Monster Hunter game, which are like dopamine hits for me, right? When you gather something or when you accept a quest, and all those little like Monster Hunter sound effects and stuff, they're in this game, and I'm totally like vibing with that. And it's cool when you see so you go into these monster dens and you're stealing eggs and you're bringing the eggs back, and you hatch the eggs back in the village, and then that's like capturing a monster, right? And I got an Azeros, and I was like, oh dude, I just fought that in the Monster Hunter Rise demo. This shit is tight, right? And I'm seeing other monsters that I recognize, and it's just a cool, I mean, this is like a great idea, right?
Okay.
It's like a super successful RPG in Japan, or series in Japan, and they turn one into like a
baby game.
Yeah, so
Monster Hunter for babies.
Was Henry capturing this footage?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
dude. Like, if
y'all, for your sake, I hope he was.
I know.
I just want everybody listening at home who may not listen to us all the time, may not be picking up on these jokes, like, just making fun of Brad. This looks fine. We're not really scared of playing
baby games. Are fine.
Looks like a perfectly fine baby game from the PS2.
Wait. I have a question. Though. How's the food in this game?
Well, important. That's the other thing. Like, all the items from Monster Hunter are in there too. Like when you go in and you kind of herbs and potions, they look the same. The icons, and it's like very,
that's too much for a baby game.
Like I need to restore my health. It's an RPG battle, but it's still like kind of the same items.
Do they have the barbecue spit?
I have not the barbecue spit yet.
Wasn't the barbecue spit basically invented in Monster Hunter World?
The animation.
Oh, that's always been a thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, you can go look up different versions of the barbecue theme. They're all great. They're all great. I don't even think World has the best one, but they're all great.
It doesn't. But yeah, the Monster Hunter way back on the PS2, which I did play some of back in the day. Also,
Nick, it has always been a cooking game.
But
I'm suddenly about 10 times more interested.
What I'm saying is the animations for the monsters and for the weapons, and you can get different weapons, and they're like the Monster Hunter weapons. I haven't unlocked hammers yet, or hunting horns, but I totally see them at the armory, right? Like to be bought or forged or whatever. And I'm like, I can't wait to see what the hammer's like, because the weapon animations and the monster animations, they're totally like, from the games, right? Like I saw Azeros do like a butt stomp or whatever that he totally does in actual like Monster Hunter. And yeah, obviously it's more colorful and childlike, but I think this is like a really good, it's a really good usage of the series to kind of.
I think a lot of that aesthetic, like the quote unquote baby aesthetic we're riffing on here, is largely because this came out on the 3DS. So they had to kind of shrink everything down
on the 3DS.
Wow. Yeah.
Remember
like this kind of game was like had a moment too on 3DS for a while. Like fucking, what was the new age Pokemon successors, like fucking Yokai Watch and the Fossil Fighter. What was the one where you like find bones and shit and turn them into dinosaurs? Yeah, like there was a bunch of these on 3DS.
Yeah, and
so I want to kind of like Monster Hunter being like, hey, let's do that.
But that Monster Hunter Stories 2 on the Switch does not look. It looks way like the one on the new one coming out on Switch looks like doesn't have the same aesthetic.
They do.
As far as I can tell.
Well, do you think they were going for something that was more like, like Wind Waker? So, more of the cell shaded, so it's kind of almost timeless to an extent. One of those things where, if you look back at like Majora's Mask, which was, I guess, the last 3D one before Wind Waker, obviously it's aged fairly poorly over time. But if you look at Wind Waker, even on the original release, it still looks pretty good. So I was just, do you think they were trying to do something like that? So even though it's on, like you said, originally on a 3DS, it still looks good over time?
Yeah. It's still stylized. And I want to be clear here. Yeah, the human characters are kind of chibi, but like the monsters still kind of look like they do in the actual game. They're like, I'm just fighting like smaller like bird wyverns and even some of the things that aren't even like, they're just sort of like the fauna that's around the environment, not the actual like hunt monsters. Like I actually have a what's it called, like the fucking like herbivores that you see at the start of like every hunt on like your main map or whatever. I forget what they're called.
Oh, the Hornitars? No, those are the
well, no, those are in there too. But I'm saying I've actually recruited one of them. I think I named him Gary, and
look at that guy.
Yeah, he's in the Monster Hunter Rise demo.
That guy whooped our ass.
Yeah, he did.
So colorful.
Yeah, no, it is very colorful. Like I'm saying, like this seems like a really like polished product.
Oh
and
yeah, that like
good
lizard
vibes and I'm totally gonna pick up stories too. I think on the Switch. I mean, it's like this is actually the kind of game that I miss that existed when Nintendo handhelds, like when Nintendo had consoles and handhelds, and this was like a classic. I mean, this is a handheld game, and now the Switch is like a serious business console, and you don't see a lot of quote unquote handheld games anymore. They're just like slightly worse looking or a lot worse looking console games because it's a Switch. But yeah, this is cool. I mean, I kind of want to see where it goes just because I want to see more monsters. And look, you could totally like when you build up your kinship bar or whatever in battle, you could totally start riding your monster and do like fucking cool attacks with them and shit. It's look at this fish attack. I mean, come on,
dude,
like a good time. I mean, fuck yourself.
What did the fish have to do with that though?
Nah,
it just looked cool. Okay. Yeah, this does look pretty cool. I'm actually kind of interested in stories. I'm curious to see if I play both Rise and Stories, which game, like which style of game ends up speaking to me more. Just as someone who's kind of struggled with the series. And
Jesus
Christ. I admire your optimism, Nick.
Well, we'll see what happens. All right, we need to take a break. When we come back, I think we have a few. Brad, we'll probably see you checking with you. You said you had a few other games you wanted to just quickly mention. Maybe
I don't really have to mention them. I mean, we're
all right. Well, fine. Fuck you too. We'll talk about the rumors that Aspyr is working on a new KoToR game.
We just did.
This game's a 79 on Metacritic. That's way higher than Days Gone. I want you to shut your mouth, Nick.
Damn.
Ooh.
Is it way higher? Is it way higher?
Days Gone is that game we will always use to hoist you by your own petard.
I did just get the message again from the guy that organized the Days Gone Day last year. See if I wanted to participate in it again this year, and I think I'm going to.
Is that already coming around again?
It's already coming around again.
Oh, looks like 8 points higher.
But anyways, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about some news regarding rumors from us around Aspyr and the future of the KoToR series. And we'll answer some questions and close out with a 4-player minute. So if you're watching us live, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. We did not totally just fall down a rabbit hole on Steam and into some of the shadier parts of Steam. But you know what? I think something came of that during the break. I think next week we might each play some of these demos. I'm going to say it on the show right now, so we kind of have to do it now. We're gonna each play some of
But
these
I'm
games.
going to be talking about another video game next week.
We'll figure out a way to do it all. We'll do it all, Brad. We'll do it all. We're
And
each
we'll
gonna
do
play
it live.
We'll each play 2 or 3 of these games that are part of the Steam Festival, and we'll talk about them briefly on the show next week. Especially if they're games that sound interesting and appealing. So, but yeah, I think that'll be nice. A nice way to get excited for some stuff coming out later in the year. But now we're going to talk a little bit. There's a little bit of news. I mean, it's actually been a fairly active news week, but not a ton that I think we really want to dive too deep into. But over the past couple of days, there's been some fairly exciting. Oh my God, how dare you, Brad? Regarding Aspyr and potentially the future of the Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic series. So, Brad or Chris Davis, I'm going to defer to you. I think y'all know more about it than I do. I've been kind of loosely keeping tabs on it. I thought this was mostly rumor and conjecture, which is why I didn't really look too deep into it. But apparently, this is some pretty. It appears to be a pretty solid rumor, right?
Yeah, KoToR could be coming back. Maybe even like a KoToR 3, but I think I'm hearing it's more of like
a remake, right, of the first
one?
No,
not a remake. I'm hearing more of like a reimagining.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
To be honest,
successor.
To be honest, any one of those 3 options sounds appealing to me. It seems like it seems like officially Star Wars has kind of broken free of, EA, right? At this point.
Exactly. So Ubisoft's working on Star Wars Division, and now KoToR is coming back. But
that's right. We actually haven't had a because the last few shows have been like preview show and Game of the Year show. We haven't really talked about any of the new Star Wars stuff. But yeah, Ubisoft is making an open world Star Wars game as well, which from the guys that made the Division. So I'm not really
massive
sure
entertainment. I mean, if you're gonna do open world, they're probably one of the better ones at Ubisoft to do it.
But like open world is also kind of like misleading because it's gonna be open world, of course. It's an Ubisoft game, but I think it's the guys that made the Division. So there's a certain amount of, I don't want to use the word baggage, but there's a certain amount of
choose your words.
Presumption you can. I mean, I would use the word baggage, but
he's pigeonholing them.
What baggage?
I mean, it's just like. Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. Chris Davis.
No, I think it's good for you. Say it, Nick.
Open your mouth. Let the words out.
It's gonna be a fucking Division clone. What?
Is that necessarily a bad thing?
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
First of all, you're confusing me saying that the Division is a bad game or a bad thing that I don't think people should be excited about. It's just
are we confusing that, or is that exactly how you're using it?
No, it's just not necessarily something that I personally am going to get excited.
I think Nick is saying if they were to put out a different style Star Wars game, he might be more inclined to play it versus a Star Wars game that is of a Division style.
Sure. It's like here's the thing: if Massive Entertainment said, "Hey, we're making an open world Star Wars game," versus if like Ubisoft Montreal said we're making an open world Star Wars game, you just kind of instantly assume that those are 2 different kinds of projects. One is going to be a more traditional, like Ubisoft style open world Star Wars game, and one is going to have all of the stuff that comes along with being the kind of game that the Division is, which is fine.
A multiplayer game.
Yes.
That's your problem there. So let me just pitch this idea then. What if this massive project ends up being like an Imperial Commando or a Republic Commando, like third-person shooter?
Sounds like you're describing something that you want, but it's not what I want.
I think a lot of people would like a sequel to Republic Commando.
Sure. I'm not saying people aren't going to play it. I'm just saying.
We're talking about the Division.
We haven't.
Come on, we haven't. KoToR. Okay, so
I am way more interested in this KoToR project than
the thing is Aspyr, who they've been working on a lot of like.
Why'd you say it like that?
Aspyr's been working on a lot of like Aspyr. Aspyr. Well, who knows?
Aspyr.
There's a Y in there. I don't know how they say it. Aspyr
Pause.
You're such a bitch.
has been working on a lot of like Star Wars ports and stuff. Whether they have the ability to make like a full on like bring back Star Wars sort of situation is yet to be seen. But we've seen recently studios like the people who you.
Come on, Brad. Words. Find them.
Well, you've seen like look at the Activision like remakes, right? Where they go like they do remakes of like Crash Bandicoot, and those do really well, and then they just go on to make like an actual sequel and stuff. It could be a situation like that, and this sort of like coincides with the other news topic where Aspyr was also purchased by Embracer Group, which is, I guess, the renamed like THQ Nordic, basically. I think they kind of renamed. They dropped the THQ Nordic name after the whole 8chan incident or whatever. But so the fact that they were purchased for quite a bit of money and all these like rumors, I think Jason Schreier said that he believes that there's some legitimacy to this rumor as well. So it seemed like it could happen. I mean, that's exciting. Even if this is like a remake, I feel like if a remake is drumming up rumors, then it might be like a pretty significant remake, which even that would be exciting, right? Those KoToR games are pretty fucking old at this point. But I just want to see it come back and have it not be an MMO.
Yeah, I mean, Knights of the Old Republic was just a really cool. It was a really cool genre to play around in the Star Wars universe, and it told some really cool stories, and it just has a very short life.
And
obviously it's pretty clear at this point that BioWare has no intention of returning to it outside of the MMO. So, but they obviously have to know that there is a huge audience of people who are waiting for that kind of game, and even if it's not like KoToR 3, or if it even has, maybe it's just a spiritual successor and it's not actually called Knights of the Old Republic, if it's that kind of game, I think people will make the connection, and people will know what's going on, and people will be all over that. I know I would. I don't know a lot about Aspyr's history
they've mostly been working on like ports of the various Star Wars games.
They've been
like
doing
Jedi Academy and stuff.
Jedi Academy and the older KoToR games to like mobile and updates to like Steam and stuff. They're the company behind all that stuff, I believe.
So maybe they've just built up enough goodwill with Star Wars, over the years that like now they've been entrusted to actually try and make something of their own.
Maybe, or at least a remake, right? Which we've seen that stuff kind of happen in the past before, like the studio that went on to remake, kind of did ports, but then they ended up doing a remake of like Twilight Princess or whatever, and that turned out okay. And I don't know. We'll see. But they weren't the only company that was bought by Embracer. They were also Gearbox was purchased.
1.3 billion for Gearbox.
Yeah.
Wait, you say billion with a B?
Billion with a B.
What the shit?
I'm surprised Gearbox is worth that much. But that's good news, right? Especially now that they aren't like a quote unquote indie studio anymore, run by a crazy person.
Oh, they'll still be the crazy person there.
I mean, that crazy person is still there.
Yeah, but he doesn't have like final say and the ability to embezzle all their money or whatever the fuck, right? So we'll see. And so some other company they bought, but THQ Nordic has been making like big purchases over recent years, but these seem like some pretty big ones, and I'm curious if this is going to translate to some big projects, which would be cool.
Yeah.
Biomute's finally coming out, right?
I'm definitely glad to see Star Wars finally break away from EA's hold, because God, they were doing like nothing with that series. Like, imagine having a property like Star Wars and just sitting on it practically, like doing the same two things, doing Jedi Fallen Order and then Battlefront over and over again. Come on.
Well, and they also did the Squadrons game, which was I mean, they did some stuff. It just took a while. You know,
And,
and,
but
and
a
all
lot of
in
that
all,
stuff
like
didn't
there was a
really
lot
pan
of
out.
like controversy behind those Battlefront games, but I heard at the end of the day when things kind of shook out, they were still pretty fun games.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
give them like
Well-
a year's worth of patches, and they turn out a pretty decent game.
I know. I mean,
They sort of canceled some projects that seemed like they had potential, and that sort of like gave them I mean, they got a lot of shit from that, and the fact that BioWare they had the Star Wars license and they didn't have BioWare make a fucking KoToR game. That seemed bonkers, but whatever.
yeah, it's bananas. But like the fact that it's kind of, it's not out of the realm of possibility now. Again, is good. It feels good.
What if
Was there any-
Larian made? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, that would be
That
dope.
would be something.
You know, first they take Baldur's Gate from BioWare since BioWare doesn't know what they're doing. Then they take KoToR. That would be great.
Pretty much, they just start taking up all the properties when people have no idea what the fuck to do with them, and they make them better. Was there anything else news-wise we really want to throw out here? I don't have any
I
overlays.
mean,
set up
there
for
were
them, but
some things that were happening.
I want you to think. I want you to think real
News
hard,
that
Chris
people
Davis.
care about.
Okay, all right.
Is this new? Is this wait? Let me get it out. Is this news, or is this 4-player minute material? There's a big difference.
Well, how about the Mass Effect Legendary Edition stuff that's been coming out this week?
That's definitely
That's
4-player
minute.
Really? Really?
I mean,
Nobody gives a shit about this.
Mass Effect is a dead
Chris
series.
Davis, this is not a new game. It is a remaster of an old
Okay,
game. That
wait,
is
wait,
not
wait.
news.
Bro,
Let
you're
him-
still
I
on
want
Mass
to hear the
Effect?
deets. I want to hear the deets.
wait, guys.
These
guys,
deets
hold
better
on.
be good.
Guys, you're Chris Davis.
What is
You're
this,
stealing my thunder
2014?
for my 4-player minute
Oh,
because I have that in my 4-player minute.
oh.
Because it's
Also-
4-player minute material.
I've not
Also-
actually heard what these deets are, but
Also-
I think I don't care.
Robin is very excited
Good.
for this legendary edition. In fact, she texted me when they made the announcement. It was like May is too far away, so very excited. I too am excited, but I'll talk more about that in my 4-player minute. So, anything else?
Okay. Real quick, Quantic Dream has opened up a new studio. Also, Certain Affinity has gotten the funding for making a new IP. So for those people that are here,
Certain Affinity. Remind me who that is.
they're actually based here in Austin. They've worked on a number of projects. The most recent one, I believe, was the remake of Modern Warfare 1.
So I'm confused. Where's the news?
Yeah. wait. What was the other one you mentioned a second ago? Before Certain Affinity.
Quantic Dream has opened a
Quantic
new
Dream.
studio.
Okay, so I saw that.
Quantic Dream.
You've
But,
heard
like,
of
there's-
them.
No, I know who they are.
Yeah,
but
everyone here has heard of them.
That should be illegal.
The point is, there's nothing really we can say about that because we don't. They're opening a new studio, which is
We
great.
can say boo, bad,
yeah, we don't like Quantic Dream. really,
bad,
Hey, I don't know if you know this, but Detroit was on my top 10 games.
boo, Nicholas.
but you
boo,
almost felt too
Nicholas.
much shame to put it on your list.
Fahrenheit was a pretty good game.
That I mean, if
You're
you
right,
had
it was
said
pretty
that was number 10 on my list because of the detective story, then I would have been like, okay, that's fair.
That what?
But
Why?
boo everything else about that game.
I mean, that is. I mean, yeah.
That's a third of the game, Nick, and it's cool, but 2/3 of that game suck.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Fair enough, Crispy. Fair enough. All right. Let's move on. Nolan, you have questions pulled up
Sure do.
from our supporters on Patreon and Twitch. I think we may have gotten a few new ones during that first segment too.
Damn, that really was a lopsided game, wasn't it?
I thought it was great.
I think there's one thing that was pretty shocking was that not Amazon,
Oh,
Google shut down all of their like game studios that they were having working on
The
games.
Stadia.
And
For
they're
Stadia,
repurposing
like all their
Stadia.
quote unquote first party game studios. They just shut them all down,
Oh.
which is like
Man.
such a oh, God.
They
Like,
bought a
were-
new
they
studio
bought-
like 2 months ago.
yeah, and like there was real talent that they were absorbing, and you kind of were expecting them to do something like
When you're Google, you can just fuck around with that kind of shit, though.
yeah, god damn it,
Like-
dude. Ugh.
that's
I mean, I
new.
think they just
That's
I think they came to the realization that, everyone kind of realized years ago is that there's not enough people with a good enough internet connection to make that model profitable at this time.
Excuse me.
That's the honest truth. Yes, us here in the Austin area, we got great internet, but you know what? There's a shit ton more people who don't live in areas with good internet that also maybe just aren't interested in hooking up to that process. They prefer either playing games on their computer or on their consoles, and streaming games is just not profitable at the moment.
It just
we're all on your side. No one's arguing against
it just
no,
really
that's what I'm saying. It's like it wasn't a surprise when Google was like, "Oh, we're doing it," and Amazon's doing their Luna, and you know what? That's gonna fucking fail too.
Yeah.
It really sucks because they're basically pigeon like as soon as Stadia was, was it even out, like officially out, or was it still technically in? I don't want to say earlier.
I think it was out.
Yeah, like so. But the writing was on the wall like almost immediately. Like, oh, this is not just like the immediate success that I think they were expecting.
Glegger, yes, Stadia, the whatever you want to call it, the product is not gone yet, but they are no longer exclusively. The platform. Thank you. Creating games for it because it's not going to make them any money, and I guarantee you, within a year or two, Stadia is going to be on its way out. I
think this is the first signal, the first official sign that like this is on the decline.
They're turning their back on it.
Yeah. So it's sad. A lot of people are out of a job, as a result of this, unfortunately. But I'm sure they'll bounce back. But man. It's all. I mean, like it's extra shitty that this is happening, obviously, in the middle of a fucking pandemic, when maybe it isn't the easiest to bounce back and find another job in the industry. Who knows? But yeah, it's just that was a huge like what the fuck moment this week. All right, Nolan, questions.
All right, let's do our oldest one because it is our last question from 2020. It's not relevant anymore. We've talked about it, but let's just quickly give our answers because we can. Thorax asks, just like with the Skywalker trilogy in Disney, does CD Projekt Red have a lot to make up for with their buggy release of Cyberpunk for the PS4 and Xbox One?
I think it's still relevant.
No, that's what I'm saying. We've answered the question before. We have talked about it in great depth, but yes, the answer is yes.
I mean, I think, and someone mentioned it earlier tonight, but CD Projekt Red, with The Witcher 3, they got so much, they built some trust and faith in people, and because solid business practices in terms of or solid practices in terms of how they treat their IP and how they treat fans.
I think one of the big things that got them so much praise and recognition was in an era where there was DLC coming out of fucking everywhere and there was gold horse armor and all this shit. They were like, hey, while we are going to have expansions, we are giving away a bunch of free shit that's just free in the game. And our expansions, while you do have to pay for them, are bigger than some standalone games. And so I think that's one of the things that kind of really made them stand out was just the high quality content of Witcher 3.
So to see them release a game like Cyberpunk, which let's not forget that game was has been a thing that has existed in people's brains. They announced that shit like 10 years ago. So obviously a lot of hype and a lot of expectation coming off of The Witcher 3. So it's not going to be easy to bounce back from.
Was it 10 years ago? That was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2012.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still 8 years. Yes. That's 10 years, whatever. It's a long time ago. And
maybe if they released it 10 years after they announced it would have been an actual game.
Maybe
needed 2 more years.
I think it's very clear that they definitely still released it before it was ready. And that it's going to be really hard for them to earn back some of that goodwill or any of that goodwill. I'm really eager because this is one of the few games, or one of the only games I think I've ever bought day one on Amazon and returned it after playing it for like 10 hours. And I have no doubt that I will one day play Cyberpunk 2077, but I'm not going to play that game until it is in a, better.
I mean, let's be honest, Nick. You returned it because you could. I bet there was other games you would return if you were given the option. You know, I'm sure. Well, you still have Astral Chain sitting on your shelf somewhere.
I traded that in.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we gotta move on. We gotta move on. More questions. All right, more questions. Next question. This is our, I guess not our first one. We've definitely asked questions from 2021 already, but this is the first one currently on the list. From Negative Cosine, and someone has to help me with this question because I don't know what it means. When will we get to see your VTuber reveals?
Oh God,
oh man, what's a VTuber?
It's those fucking those anime girls that like the VR anime girl YouTubers that play video games.
Yeah,
and anime boys.
Hold on. So my question is it says your VTuber. Can you like
everyone
makes
makes
their
everyone makes their own like character, and it's like that's
all you need is a webcam basically.
Okay.
It's that.
Is it something we should
Oh God.
It's like you need like a green screen and like a whole rig for it. I think it's not like consumer level yet. You got to commission like someone to make it for you. And...
someone has to like do the art and the
not
model
necessarily
and
as far as I'm aware. I don't think you have to.
There are like some cheap studios that you can get like suites on Steam now that will like make VTuber rigged models for you.
Am I cool to Google this?
Yeah, probably.
It is safe for work.
What's up?
But we do need you to read more. I think the answer to that question is we don't know.
Free Steam program lets you make your own VTuber.
It sounds like Nolan's gonna do this.
How about we set this as a Patreon goal? How about that?
I'm down. I don't know. Is this some weird? Is this weird? This is like one of those weird internet things.
Oh,
why's it gotta be weird?
It's like exactly like we're already doing, except people figured out how to like not have to show their face.
All right, moving on. Next question from Zero Skies. What two sauces would you mix together and eat that are usually not mixed together? What would you use it for? Dipping, marinating, etc.
Oh God.
Two sauces.
Mixing sauces.
Oh.
Mix two sauces?
What? Yeah. So it has to be two sauces that aren't normally mixed together that we would like to mix together, or just two random ones that we.
I think I think I would
still eat.
Yeah, I would say at the end of the day you got to eat it.
That's what she said. Sorry. Oh God.
Gotta go look at my cabinet.
Someone name all the sauce, like name sauce.
Yeah, so that's the thing is I don't remember what brand it is.
Bechamel.
I can't remember what brand it is, but hasn't someone already put out like a shit ton of like sauce combinations like that? Like I remember at one point seeing them at HEB, like ranch and barbecue and this, and like they've kind of like mixed them all already, and like.
I mean, I regularly, on a burger, I'll have barbecue sauce and mustard on it.
Whoa! What are you from South Carolina?
No.
Because they use mustard-based barbecue sauce.
I feel like we magically summoned Joseph into chat because he appeared immediately when this question was asked. It said mayo and barbecue is good.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I think that's fine. What about something like ranch and Chick-fil-A sauce?
What is
that? Would probably go together.
Chick-fil-A sauce is like honey mustard without any mustard taste.
So honey?
It's just honey. It's not honey. But it's not.
Yeah, nobody knows what the other component of
that is. It's like a little bit of just like
Gleeger in chat says ketchup and mayo is normal. Yeah, I would say that's a pretty normal combination.
That's for me, burger sauce.
Yeah, for me, one of the things I do, and it's not like, oh, it's so crazy, but it's something I literally, every time we get Cane's, I mix the cane sauce with ketchup.
Okay. Why? The cane sauce is so good on its own.
But then there's more cane sauce than I didn't have to pay for it, and there's also a little bit of the ketchup twang to it.
I like to mix.
Get another cup of cane sauce.
If they sold it by the bottle, we wouldn't have
like
this
30
problem.
cents. The recipe's online. It's like there's 4 things in it. That's it.
But I have to cook.
No, you don't. You don't even have to cook. It's like squeeze 3 bottles together and mix them.
What's up, Nick? Sriracha?
Sriracha, and what would go good with sriracha? I feel like there's got to be something that you could mix with sriracha that would be really good.
Some sort of aioli.
I already hate mayo, so I feel like
Aioli.
Nick, I think you've just had bad mayo. Then there's definitely like.
I mean, I think my hang-up with mayo is more of just a consistency thing. It kind of
what about sriracha with like a Japanese mayo? Have you never had a Japanese mayo? I mean, sure, you've had sushi plenty, so that I'm sure you've had some.
I like Japanese mayo definitely more than like our mayo.
So there's something. Bernadette brings up a good point that ketchup and mayo is the good burger sauce.
I like to mix A1 and A1 bold.
Dude,
is that a thing?
No.
Some of the best sauces at Pluckers are just like two of their other sauces mixed together.
Yeah,
that is true.
Like you get that Gold Rush.
Yeah, the Gold Rush.
Mm-hmm. That stuff is so good.
My favorite sauce at Pluckers is the
Vampire Killer.
The spicy lemon pepper, because it's literally
spicy lemon pepper is so good. It's the medium mixed with lemon pepper.
Exactly, which is just the rub, the lemon pepper rub mixed with the medium.
I haven't tried that.
It's lemon pepper wet from Atlanta.
I went from getting like 2 different kinds of sauces, like doing half and half at Pluckers, to just getting all spicy lemon pepper when I discovered spicy lemon pepper, because it's incredible.
So good.
Okay.
So good. It's got the buttery richness, the spice, and the acidity, the bright high notes.
Oh my god, I'm salivating. You're making me salivate. I'm gonna step away for just a second, but Nolan, keep going.
He's gonna go get some.
Yeah, while he goes,
he's gonna go order Pluckers.
Nick's gonna go make some sauce.
He's gonna run
all right. I can't think. Like, I was thinking, like, because they were talking about like marinating and stuff like that. But one of the things I do, and one of the things not too long ago, Bernadette and I started making some kind of like homemade musubi. And a lot of the recipes call for making a glaze with what is it, soy sauce and like mirin. And one of the things I started adding that no one I at least saw adding was oyster sauce. I really like the umami flavor you get from oyster sauce, and I started adding that as well.
Are you making like spam musabi or?
Yes, I love spam musubi. It's fucking delicious. Like a week ago, we made a batch of like 20 of them. And then you just wrap them up and put them in the fridge, and you get to just every once in a while just have a snack or whatever on them.
I didn't read musubi, so.
No, it's easy and they are delicious. All right, let's do another question. Do y'all want to do a would you rather?
Depends on who's asking the question.
Sure.
All right. Well, Nick's not here, but we can fill him in when he gets here in just a second. He's almost
he's
here.
Got the sauce.
Hurry up, Nick.
He's got the sauce. All right.
That was really quick, Nick.
Would you rather only be able to eat the recommended serving size for the rest of your life, or never be able to know the serving size nutritional info of anything ever again?
Oh god,
that's gonna haunt Nick.
The latter's how I already live, and I think I'll just go the other way. Then
and the former,
maybe I'll live healthier.
The former, you're starved to death.
So what happened?
Oh, because it's the recommended portion size.
But then then it'd be a lot of things where it's like, oh, the recommended serving size, 1 cookie, and it's like, oh, great.
Yeah, you're like, why'd I buy this whole box?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of cookies, I regularly used to, before COVID, would donate blood. And I haven't been going just because I'm trying not to go to places and blah, 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 whatever. But they keep upping the ante with incentives to come and donate. And currently it's a box of Girl Scout cookies.
Oh,
they're like, if you come and donate blood, you don't get a cookie. We give you a whole fucking box of cookies.
You keep donating blood to get more boxes?
I guess. I would probably go with not knowing.
Yeah.
Just because I'm sure you could probably judge it at some point, but just the shitty thing is, recommended serving sizes are so shitty sometimes.
Yeah, they'll fuck you sometimes. Like you open a can of Coke and it's like 2.5 servings per can.
Yeah.
Like,
so you can only drink, can't even drink half of it.
But then they started making actual serving size cans, and there's those little guys.
Yeah, the little ones.
And they're so sad.
Well, honestly, they're pretty good. I have a couple in my fridge downstairs. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Size-wise. Anyway, all right.
They don't taste anything.
Yeah. Let's do one more to polish off the night. Not that one. Not that one.
This question seems kind of interesting.
Go for it.
Sorry, I'm going to highlight it here so you can see it.
All right.
So you can read it. The Drunken Merchant.
Yep. Sure, I'll read that one. I haven't read it yet, but here I go. From the Drunken Merchant, who's never asked us a question before. Sarcasm. We have like 6 from him. I was recently watching a Final Fantasy X retrospective, and I noticed something absolutely awful. The start menu on the PS2 version. It is comprised of a long, blurry JPEG of water, an awful Play Online advertisement on top, and the beautiful Final Fantasy X logo shrunken down and shoved off to the side. Simply horrid, especially when you consider all of the memorable scenes in that game. I know that it was made 20 years ago, but remember how iconic something like Final Fantasy VII screen is? What is the worst start menu you guys have ever seen? To be specific, it's the screen where you select new game, continue, options, etc. when you're starting up the game. Ooh, that's tough.
Final Fantasies 7's was pretty bad.
Wait,
you just
what?
praised that one.
Wait, what are you talking
Sevens
about?
was
The one
nice and
Final
minimalistic.
Fantasy VII is incredible.
Yeah.
It's simplistic.
It's beautiful. It's like it's.
Wait, what are we talking about here exactly? Which
start
screen?
screen.
Were you not listening to the?
Brad, I literally just described what it was. It is the screen in which you sit and you can select new game, continue, start, options, whatever. That screen.
But Final Fantasy 7 is just new game and continue.
Wait, we're not. It doesn't matter what the options are. We're talking
It's
about
the presentation.
The presentation of it, which is like.
It's
Brad
just a
looks
little
really
pop. It's just a little pop up.
Brad, no, it's not. It's the fucking Buster Sword.
Yeah.
Brad, we're
it's the
talking-
Buster
we're
Sword
talking
and a
about-
beam of light.
Brad looks really confused right now.
Yeah, like I don't understand why he's so confused.
I've seen some good start screens. Like I like the. I think the Final.
If you literally Google Final Fantasy VII start screen, that is what it is. That is the Buster Sword, the light.
I remember it.
I think a lot of like the modern like Call of Duties just have dog shit start screens, because nowadays whenever you boot up a Call of Duty game, it's just 3 slides of like 3 different Call of Duty games, like 3 different products. You just like, go to whichever one you want. Like, yeah,
I know a good one. The first Xenoblade had a really good start screen.
We're looking for specifically trying to think of bad ones.
Yeah.
Although
bad ones.
Although that would actually be an interesting like top 5 or a top 10, just because there's a lot of really great ones. Like The Last of Us is incredible.
See that once again, I know we're trying to think of bad ones, and the problem is it's hard to remember bad ones. But I think something like The Last of Us, obviously that's not the only one, but I do like that concept of changing start screens. Like The Last of Us, both 1 and 2 changes depending on like where you're at in the game. I like that concept. I'm trying to think of bad ones. Though.
You know, kind of leaping off of the Final Fantasy X reference, I recently booted up Final Fantasy VIII, and that start menu is not very good either. It's just the Lionheart icon or symbol or whatever with a lion and like this like weird red background, I guess. I don't find that to be particularly memorable or inspired, especially coming off of 7, which was rather beautiful.
Lost Odyssey is one of my favorite games, but like it's got a very kind of bad menu to start with. It just doesn't look good. This might be a controversial pick, but because it's got a great press start screen, but it's got a kind of weak main menu in Metal Gear Solid 3.
I don't remember it.
It's just like,
I mean, I'm fairly certain I remember as soon as you select it, you hear like a gunshot or something.
Yeah, I mean, when you launch into the game, when you're loading in or whatever, but it's kind of just like a very utilitarian screen, and there's not any flair to it.
Was 3 the one with like the changing background?
Yeah, but that was the that was the press start screen, not like
That's what we're
the
talking
menu.
about.
No,
We're not talking about the menu.
about
Okay.
What? You just changed the rules.
Yeah, we're talking about the start screen.
No, we're talking about the
suggested this
menu
question.
screen.
Yeah, you said where you select like continue game or like options.
The original. So okay, once again, back this up a second. It's going to depend on the
I
game.
think we have answered the question.
I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I suggested this question because I literally didn't think there was any room for confusion, but apparently I was very wrong.
I don't like Final Fantasy 6s.
Oh, yeah, you just don't like Final Fantasy. Start screens.
It's all like thunder and lightning, and the music's like dun dun dun. And you know, when you start it, it's like beautiful, right?
Yeah.
The march to Narsh was fucking great, right? But no.
I don't know.
Does anybody in chat have any good ones? Big Wazoo brings up Prince of Persia: The Warrior Within. I don't remember that one.
It's not about screening the question. It's kind of weird and arbitrary to think of the worst.
Okay, actually, I've got
ones don't stick in your mind.
I've got a pretty bad worst one for Brad.
Hold on. I will agree with Big Wazoo. I'm looking at the Prince of Persia one. That looks pretty bad.
Brad, how do you feel about?
Go ahead, Chris Davis.
I was gonna say, Brad, how do you feel about Tomb Raider Underworld?
I don't remember. I mean, that's the point, right? If it sucked, why would you remember?
It was Laura like right in front of her mansion, and you
Laura?
press start, and
Laura?
behind her,
Who's
mansion
Laura?
explodes.
Who's Laura?
I remember that.
I don't call her Lara, okay? I'm sorry.
No.
You don't have to call her Lara. That's not her name either.
Yeah, you haven't said her name yet.
Laura Croft.
It's Laura Croft?
It's not Laura, and it's not Lara. It's Laura.
Laura,
whatever.
Lara. Laura.
Tom Ryder.
Oh my god!
All right, that's probably all the questions for tonight. Thanks everybody for asking those questions. We'll answer some more next week, like we've said in weeks past. There is a question thread that is there's a link to the forum that is pinned in the supporters channel, and we also include a link to it every time we post on Patreon.
So really, what I do every week is just update the existing post for questions, and it should send out a reminder to everybody. But yeah, it's pinned in the supporters channel in Discord at discord.gg/4Player. So if you support us at $1 or higher on Patreon, or if you subscribe to us on Twitch, you can ask us anything you want, and we'll answer it on the show. If we didn't get to your question tonight, we will eventually get there. We promise. But now, I think, unless anybody has any objections, we can pretty much wrap up at the 4-player minute.
I object because I'm woefully underprepared.
Well, you have some time because we almost always start with Brad.
Yeah.
Not this week.
I'm ready to go.
Shit.
Could I go first?
Go for it,
go
Nick.
first. Ah, shit. My hype this week is for Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition.
I haven't heard of this.
Which
Should
actually
have talked about it in the news.
Yeah, we should have.
No, bitch. You're literally stealing my thunder by talking about it in the news. I want to talk about it now. First of all, it seems like a pretty significant upgrade, and it's a lot of quality of life improvements seem to have been made. We don't know how deep those are going to go, but
Did they remove Caden?
They did no. I mean, here's the thing: it's still the same game. It has all of the DLC just kind of built into it, which is nice.
All but one piece, actually.
Yeah, all but one piece, which is not there because of the source code was corrupted, as they say.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's fun. It's kind of like the reason the Silent Hill 2 or the Silent Hill HD collection sucks is because they lost a lot of that source code and had to like rebuild some of that shit.
And sadly, that one piece of DLC is actually pretty decent.
But hey, there's a lot of pretty decent DLC for Mass Effect that is in the game. Which is nice. And it has all 3 games in there. The only thing it doesn't have is the multiplayer from Mass Effect 3, which Chris Davis cares about. I don't really, but
you don't know the joys of being a biotic god, okay?
I know.
You need to learn.
I don't want to play. I don't want to play the multiplayer.
You can learn. You could be happy.
Care,
Experience happiness around
clearly
3 other people
because they're not releasing it.
Motherfucker, I don't want to learn. I just want to play Mass Effect, which ties in to my sweat, which is I finally bought the Uncharted collection, Nathan Drake collection. This Mass Effect edition is coming out in May, and I just got the really strong urge the other day to play BioShock, and I realized there's 3 trilogies of games that came out, in that around the same time in that same generation that I love that I haven't played in a very long time, and I would like to replay them all.
I've been saying it for years, Nick. I want a year where no new video games come out.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I just want a year where it's like I can play through my backlog, maybe replay a few games I've been meaning to hit, where I don't feel pressured and worried to play the latest, greatest, hottest shit because I have to. Like,
you're absolutely right, but like I said, I've recently, or like last year was the first year where I kind of made an effort to always be playing something that's also old that I've played before, and I played like 10 games last year that, I was replaying, which was nice. Every little bit helps. My second hype goes to Akira Yamaoka. In an interview was today briefly teased that his next project that he is working on is likely to be announced in the summer of this year, and he said, quote unquote, if I remember correctly, it's probably the one you've been waiting for. Which, of course, unless he's referring to Shadows of the Damned 2, then he's most likely teasing the next Silent Hill game.
I would love a Shadows of the Damned 2.
Sure, but
I'd prefer a Shadows of the Damned 2.
Y'all could both go fuck yourself, because I want Silent Hill now with Akira
Nick,
Yamaoka.
how many Silent Hill games have you had versus how many Shadows of the Damned games have we had?
Hey, Shadows of the Damned was okay at
fantastic.
Best. Okay,
that was a great game.
And my second sweat, is going to go to The Long Dark. I played all the way through the most recent story chapter so I'm all caught up in the story of The Long Dark. There's 2 chapters left, and I fucking adore the shit out of that game. It is so good. But like, I don't know what their roadmap for releasing these like story chapters. It's been so long. Like, I'm just worried it's going to take forever to get those last 2 chapters out. Because I'm only
maybe they'll never come out.
I hope not. They've got 2 more to go, and they're so good. That game is so damn good. Anyways, that's my 4-player minute. Go, Brad.
My hype for this week is going to be for Little Nightmares 2, which I liked the first game. I don't think it was like incredible or anything, but I enjoyed it. But this new one, based on trailers, looks like to be a lot creepier, and it's co-op. So it seems like the perfect game to play with the wife, and I think I will enjoy doing that. My sweat is honestly for Monster Hunter Rise. I'm so incredibly excited for this game. I'm worried about how much neglect I'm going to, have for my family when Monster Hunter Rise comes out. It's going to be rough. I'm definitely going to be getting those, wandering to bed at 5 a.m. and hoping Malia doesn't wake up to look at the clock or whatever. You've been there. You've been there. And Monster Hunter Rise is one of those games for sure. And I will definitely be neglecting sleep seriously once that comes out. And my family. My fuck you for this week goes to Konami, because that's an easy fuck you. But I learned something. I saw like a Reset Era thread. Apparently, Konami, the company that holds hostage all of some of our favorite IP. Nick just mentioned Silent Hill, also Metal Gear Suikoden, Castlevania. They just put out a game on the Switch last year that as of this month or whatever, in Japan has become their best-selling game ever in Japan. It's like some train board game or some shit, but it blew up like crazy in Japan. Just a huge success for Konami. It's called Momotaro Dentetsu.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Oh no, I'm not done with Momotaro Dentetsu Showa Heisei Rawa Mo Taiben for the Switch.
I'm guessing that didn't come
sold
out
extraordinarily well, and it's I don't know, crazy. Yeah, in Japan only. I think it's closing in on like 3 million shipped almost, and just to be clear, like the most, I mean that's incredibly high for Japan. Like like their top 10 games of all time or whatever in terms of sales are like sub 10 million or whatever, right? I think the highest sold like in Monster Hunter games ever sold is like 4 million something. So like that's an incredibly high number, and yeah, fuck Konami, you don't deserve that. Go fuck yourselves. Make a Suikoden game now. And my thank you for this week, I guess I'll give to Chris Davis, because he's about to start making a bunch of videos for us, and that's a lot of rendering time. Who knew? What does he do when his videos are rendering? Who knows? But
I sleep.
Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll start seeing those soon. I did record a top 10 Jimmies of 2020, and that one's in the bag. So I don't know when you're going to see that video. It'll probably be a while, but
maybe sooner than you think.
Thanks, Chris Davis.
Yeah, happy to help.
Excuse me.
Happy for everyone else to send their stuff in too.
I'm working on it. Crispy.
All right. My hype this week is going to be for Steam demos. This shit looks crazy. I'm seeing some stuff on here that really tickled my fancy, including a couple like party social bluffing games. Like there's one here called Evil that looks neat. That would be cool to get some people together to play. There's a game called Potion Craft that I'm excited to try, and there's another game, I can't remember what the name of it is. It's like a foreign word, but it kind of reminds me of that board game. What is it called? The one where you lay tiles to like build a city. I don't know. It just looks
Carcassonne?
Cool. Carcassonne. Yeah. Carcassonne. Yeah, that one. That shit looks cool. A couple of deck building games. Timberborn, the Beaver People game. Want to try that? Yeah, this shit looks dope. I'm gonna give another hype this week to just Monster Hunter in general. Both more Monster Hunter World and for Monster Hunter Rise coming up. Really digging the Monster Hunter at the moment, and I hope it lasts. I'm gonna give a fuck you to I don't even know what they're called, but there's these little badgers in Iceborne in the fucking ice biome that like they're just little endemic forms of life that you're like, oh, these little things, they're nothing, I destroy monsters, and then they just fuck you. They just like fucking gang up on you and murder you, and it's horrible. Like it's the worst. Fuck those little things. And my sweat is gonna be, it's not a sweat, it's more of like a we'll see, maybe, right? That is for Nick and online gaming in the future. Maybe Monster Hunter and maybe Deep Rock Galactic and maybe some of these fun multiplayer games he's been playing with us will show him that online gaming isn't a 4-letter word, Nick. It'll be fine. It'll be okay, Nick. You can still enjoy games just because they're multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe you. I'm just kidding. I do. I had a fun time playing Monster Hunter Rise, and I want to do that.
Yes, you did.
I want to do that again.
This is the kind of game that you'll, like really sink your feet into. I don't know.
My feet?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Dip your balls into.
Dip your dick into.
I don't know. We'll see. All right. Chris Davis.
Okay. All right. My first hype this week is also for Mass Effect: The Legendary Edition. A lot of details came out this past week talking about what all the changes they've made and the enhancements and what they're talking about. It seems that Mass Effect 1 got the biggest boost in terms of visual fidelity, but also updates to gameplay mechanics. And that's one of the most hyped things for me for that collection, because I really have always wanted to replay Mass Effect 1, but your fucking squad AI was garbage. It was atrocious.
Yeah, but the grenades. Remember the grenades that you?
No, I don't remember the grenades because I got so mad at my fucking.
I love
cohorts.
Mass Effect 1 grenades.
I don't know.
They're like little pucks. You send it through the air. It's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Well, either way, I'm really hoping the AI gets the fix that it most desperately needs. My second hype is for the GoldenEye leak that came out this past week. We didn't talk about it in the news, but it was known for years that a team at Microsoft were working on a Perfect Dark style updated port of GoldenEye, and it fell through because of a lot of technicalities and rights issues. And someone leaked it this past week, and I am desperate to try and find a way to play it.
How complete is that?
It's full campaign and local multiplayer.
What?
And local
Sounds
multiplayer.
like a finished. It sounds like a finished game then.
It basically is. If you watch, there's a bunch of playthroughs out there. It looks 100% complete.
Well, damn. Maybe I'll actually play this too.
You should really check it out. It's really interesting.
I was under the impression this was 1 or 2 levels that they had finished or something.
Every campaign level, every difficulty level, all the multiplayer maps, and all the multiplayer AI.
Damn, Microsoft's just holding that shit hostage.
Well, no, it's not Microsoft. It's probably more like Eon and a bunch of the other stakeholders. Plus, they probably had a lot of trouble getting the licenses for the.
It was Barbara Broccoli. I'm sure of it.
I'm not certain Barbara Broccoli knows what a video game console is, but
that's also possibly true.
My thank you this week goes to all the delightful people who have been doing meme art of Lady Dramescu or whatever her name is from Resident Evil 8. I have gotten a lot of laughs this week scrolling through my Twitter feed and just seeing all the bullshit people are coming up with.
I like it when other developers started getting in on it. Remedy tweeted out size comparisons of all of the monsters and stuff from Control next to Tall Lady from Resident Evil 8.
And then
people were like, just stop. Remedy, just stop it.
Bandai Namco tweeted out "We did it first" and just showed a picture of what's her name from Dark Souls, the gigantic lady laying on her side.
Gwen, was that Gwen?
Guinevere or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm here for it. I'm here. Here's the thing. It's really. I don't think it was necessary for every publication in the world to write 50 articles about this tall lady. That's getting a little weird.
They wrote articles because everybody was talking about it.
I know.
For business.
I know it's good for business. It's just that's where it starts to get borderline. I wish the internet could just have a thing without.
I'll say what I was saying in Discord or whatever. Without this, no one would be talking about Resident Evil 8. So they haven't shown anything. So Capcom and everybody else, all the fans should be happy that something caught on and went viral. But this really is just an extension of the Mr. X thing, right? Mr. X was a huge meme, and I think it helped that game sell very well.
How long do you think it's going to take for them to patch Tall Lady into Resident Evil 2 remake?
I'm surprised it hasn't been done, but it's tricky. She's so tall, She's
the modders will get it.
Yeah,
the modders will do it. And my fucking this week goes to Sega. They announced a new Sonic TV series. Imagine that. There's always one in the works. But right before that, Roger Craig Smith, who is the voice actor for Sonic, who has been that character for I don't know since Sonic Adventure, was retiring the character, wasn't going to do anymore. And then right after that announcement, they announced this new Sonic series. And then it's been found out that evidently the voice actor for Tails and the voice actor for Amy, they're both also not being allowed back for these characters. So Sega's just fucking cleaning the clearinghouse and getting rid of all this old talent. And that's kind of shitty.
Maybe there's a reason. I don't know.
I mean,
that's not bad. I mean, that happens, man.
It happens, but it's not good happening. Remember what happened with David Hayter and Metal Gear Solid 5?
What happened?
And Sam Fisher and
and Sam Fisher.
Word on the street is it didn't bother Nick all that much.
If it wasn't for Metal Gear Solid 5, I never would have found out that Kiefer Sutherland was a country singer.
Or that he's bad at voice acting.
Yeah. But either way, fuck Sega for doing that. Just let.
All right.
Yeah. Whatever.
All right. Fair enough. All right, Nolan.
All right.
Say it, Brad. Say it.
No, I was gonna say I didn't know Chris Davis was a closet 3D Sonic fan, but
I don't think I've ever played a 3D Sonic game.
they're all bad.
All right, my 4 minute starts now. My hype is for Loop Hero. I had a lot of fun playing the demo. Probably going to play the demo a little bit more. I don't know how far the demo goes, but it seems pretty expansive. Excited to play a little bit more of that. My sweat is for Zelda games. Lately, I've been trying to do some of the top 10 stuff and trying to catch up on some other games. So I've been playing as many of the Zelda games. I want to get back to Minish Cap because I was really enjoying that.
Oh, yeah. And then Twilight Princess.
Yeah, Twilight Princess is on. I'm gonna play it.
I'm holding out hope they're gonna release that on Switch soon.
Dude, with my fucking luck, as soon as I finish it, they're gonna put an announcement out.
Yeah, don't do it, Nolan. Don't do it.
Wait, don't you mean you want me to? Because then as soon as I finish it, you'll get your announcement.
It is the
That's true.
35th anniversary this year, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
Something like that.
Maybe.
So my thank you is going to go to Bernadette. She's been sitting with me through all of my Hitman gaming lately. I've been having a lot of fun with that. And her giving me suggestions. Oh, try doing this and doing that, and just having fun. Especially with the second to last level. There's like a level where you're on like a vineyard. We had a lot. Had a lot of fun with that one.
I've seen clips of that one with the wine press or whatever, the grape press.
It gets pretty crazy. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do. My fuck you is going to go to Nick for his Akira Yamaoka comment. So he said he wants another Silent Hill game. Well, I looked it up. If you combine all of the reviews for all the Silent Hill games, they average out to a 72, whereas Shadows of the Damned is a 77, a far superior game which needs a sequel. So
you do realize you're talking about an average including 4 games made by Team Silent, which were all rated higher than the 4 games that came after that brought it down.
Well, clearly they're going the wrong direction. Shadows of the Damned can go nowhere but up, Nick.
Did that rating include the Vita game Book of Memories?
Probably.
Nick needs to play that.
He does need to play that.
I will never play it. I have no interest in playing it. Fuck you both.
It's developed by Way Forward. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some quality developers were behind that video game.
You've convinced
That's
me.
it from me.
Cool. Thank you, Nolan. Guys, that's going to do it for our show tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, next week, we'll do our usual stuff as well, but I think we're going to focus a lot on, we're going to each play some of these games that are part of this Steam Summer Demo Festival or whatever they're calling it. We'll each bring a few games to the table, talk about them, make some recommendations or whatnot. So tune in for that next Thursday night. Again, also, we're going to be recording our next Revival Club. I know it's been a couple months. I think going forward, I said this on my cast, but I think going forward, we're going to just say December and January, it's time off from Revival Club while we work on Game of the Year stuff. But I'm jumping back into Castlevania to finish that, and I'm going to record a conversation about that game with Brad and a community guest as well. And we'll be getting a poll up for the next episode of the Revival Club.
Get your nominations in now.
Get them in. Brad's been trying to get me to do this for months, but I'm going to start kind of just looking for recommendations for games that are kind of relevant to something in or around the modern zeitgeist. You know what I mean? So if you have a game that you want to recommend for the Revival Club and you're a supporter on Patreon or Twitch, go to the nominations channel in Discord and leave it there. I'll get a poll up either tomorrow afternoon or Saturday morning for that. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. 4playernetwork.com is the website. And, of course, you can join us in Discord where we talk about games every single day over at discord.gg/4player. Until next week, good night.
Bye.
Bye.